Going live.
Hey,
Hello.
good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Hello. So if some of you have stayed, maybe I still have some of my fans from the last hour. Or we might have some new people. I know, yeah. Are you not gathering a fan base? I'm gathering a fan base.
I have noticed some students following from webinar to webinar, yes, and I do enjoy it.
Exactly. It's our fan base. Okay, yeah, see? Fan base. Okay, so guys, just gonna quickly introduce ourselves. So my name is Lisa. Some of you may know me from 10 minutes ago. I'm from Ireland, and I've been living in Italy for 2.5 years. And yourself, David?
Cool. I'm David. I'm in England, so I've got a British accent in comparison to an Irish one, and I've been living in Milan for a year and a half, and I've been really enjoying it up until very recently.
What has changed, David?
Not too much, I guess.
Just more indoor
I'm
indoor things.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're both from Milan, but I teach at the Milano Montenero School in Porto Romano in the south of center of Milan.
And I teach at Milano Merivili. So just kind of near, I guess actually near Duomo, so a little bit more in the center of the city. So I know some of you who joined recently from that school and probably others from Milan as well. So welcome. We have Emanuela, Alex, Federica, Ariana. Okay, great. So we have a few people
Cool.
here.
Yeah, I'm
So yeah, tell
recognizing
us
some names,
your
so it's
name,
good to
where
see.
you live. Exactly. Some of your students. So yeah, it's good to see you guys again. And Olga, welcome again. Fantastic. Emanuela from Palermo. Brilliant. So guys, we will be talking about a very light topic this evening. Nothing too
A very
too serious.
appropriate topic.
Exactly. Natural disasters. Natural disasters. Now, what we're dealing with now is not a natural disaster, but we can say it is a bit of a disaster in itself.
100%, 100%. The world's gone crazy, so I would definitely give it that disaster status.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then Ariana from Milan, hello. And Eloisa, okay, fantastic. You living in Arluno. Brilliant. So guys, as we always say, we want these webinars to be interactive. So please write to us, ask us any questions in the comments, and we're obviously going to ask you guys some questions. So we want you to help us to answer those questions too, because sometimes we forget.
Exactly.
Okay, so what we're going to be talking about, sorry, I'll just take down this banner so we can take a look. Okay, so in this focus activity, we're going to talk a little bit about vocab, okay? Because sometimes when we talk about disasters, things like this, the vocabulary can be a bit strange in English. And also what will be most important here is present perfect versus past simple. Because at this stage, you're probably only using the present perfect sometimes. So we'll take a look at that and how we can use it. To talk about recent world disasters. So we can use it for now.
Beautiful.
I don't know if I don't know if we'll prepare a safety plan. We may discuss how people are maybe going a bit too crazy with their safety plans.
Yeah, maybe come up with some suggestions.
Yeah, exactly. And interview. Okay, so we'll do this a little bit, but we'll also kind of make it a bit more interactive as well. Okay, Zita, you joined us from Napoli. Good evening. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so open question. What are natural disasters? Okay, and we're not looking for a type of natural disaster here. We're looking for an explanation. So
Yeah,
I'm going to open this up.
a definition.
Exactly. Exactly. How could we define natural disasters? So if anyone can help us out with a definition, that would be great. How can we define a natural disaster? Okay. So we'll give you a bit of time to answer that. And in the meantime, David, are you going to sing a song?
Ooh, I wish I could sing a song.
Sorry, I do that all the time to just mess with people. Like,
Put me under pressure much. Wow.
it's fun to try and like make people feel awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, yeah, so we have some examples of natural disasters coming in, but what we're looking for here is a definition. Okay, a definition. If you can define natural disasters. Am I asking too much of people?
No, definitely not. They can. They know what natural disasters are. They can define it. I'm sure.
Exactly. So we're looking for
Yeah,
a
that's
description in English of natural disasters. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Example from Eloisa.
a bad event that involves a lot of people. Yeah, yeah. It's not wrong. Definitely involves a lot of people, and it's definitely bad, negative.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Okay. So yeah, so that's what we're looking for, guys. Something like a sentence in English that for you defines what is a natural disaster. Okay, because the others that you're giving, so earthquake, typhoon, things like this, they are types of natural disasters. Ooh, okay, fantastic. So we
Disasters that
have,
don't depend on other people. Mm.
okay, so I guess in this case, I mean like that aren't caused, they aren't caused by people.
Yeah, exactly.
Disasters, situations that humans can't handle. It's pretty good. Yeah, and some things that we can't. Okay, so probably what you're looking to say here, Rosita. So maybe that we can't predict. We can't predict. I would say we can't predict. Maybe that's what you mean there. Because yeah, sometimes it's. I don't know. Sometimes they can be predicted, but other times they happen suddenly.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to
So
say.
shall
Yeah,
us tell the definition we have here?
we'll take a. Want to read this one, David?
Yeah. So natural disasters are extreme sudden events caused by environmental factors that injure people and cause extensive damage. They can strike anywhere in the world, often without warning. Perfect. So that says about we can't predict it, often without warning. Yeah.
Exactly. So really good. That relates to the fact that it's unpredictable. And also, so sudden events, environmental factors. Okay, exactly. So yeah, it can relate. So again, I guess sometimes we can say people don't cause natural disasters, but sometimes, obviously, now with environmental problems, sometimes the damage caused by people actually creates natural disasters in a way. But
Yeah,
that
because
would be
everything
getting
is
into the
connected,
science
of
of it.
course.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so extensive damage and injure people. Exactly. So yeah, as Manuela said there as well, the situation. So it's very dangerous. Exactly. It's a very dangerous situation. And yeah, especially with the problems in the environment now, it's unfortunately something that is becoming more common. Um, Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. When it says there, David, they can strike to strike anywhere. What does that mean?
Oh, that's an interesting one. To strike. So to strike is like to hit.
Hmm.
Like to hit or to hit or like attack almost.
Yeah, exactly. So even could we say like lightning strike? When the lightning strikes, it happens suddenly.
Yeah, exactly. Like in that picture, that is lightning. You say it is a lightning strike.
Hmm. Exactly. So yeah, when something strikes, sometimes this is used quite a lot in the news. They say disaster struck. Okay,
Yeah.
past tense, struck. Disaster struck in Australia with the wildfires, something like this. Okay, and let
Oh
us know,
yeah,
guys,
that's a
if you've any.
perfect example of irregular past tense from strike to struck.
Exactly. Struck. So yeah, it changes quite a lot in the past tense,
It
so it
does.
can be confusing. But yeah, it's the past tense of strike. Okay, struck like this. So I'm just putting that there so you guys can see how it's spelled. So struck. Okay, so you might see this disaster struck. Okay, it happened. Disaster struck. Okay. So then what we want to do is we want you guys to brainstorm. Okay, so you already started. Okay, you already started already. So we had some examples before talking about earthquakes, tsunami, cyclones, floods. Okay, really good. And I think we had typhoons. So can you think of any other? Okay, can you think of any other types of natural disasters? Okay, any other vocabulary? Okay.
I can try to think of some in England, but in England they aren't very common.
Yeah,
Natural disasters.
it's true. It's usually in certain parts of the world. Certain parts of the world are more prone to natural disasters. Okay, prone to.
Ooh,
Okay.
what does that mean? Prone to?
So if I say prone to, okay, so for example, we can also use this with people. So if I say I'm prone to getting a cold, I'm prone to getting colds, okay, it means I'm more likely than other people. Okay, I'm more likely than other people. And also so when we talk about natural disasters, some countries or certain areas are more likely to have natural disasters.
Yeah, it's like you're more susceptible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So we have some examples: cyclones, flood, heat wave, avalanche, avalanche of snow, definitely. All very good answers. Yeah.
Excellent. So susceptible is a hard word to spell, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I am terrible at spelling in
Yeah.
English for sure. Uh,
It's a good thing your job doesn't depend on it.
mhm.
I think I've made a stab at it. I don't know if I'm correct. More
It looks
prone to,
right to
more like,
me.
yeah, let's just hope. Well, I didn't get an autocorrect thing anyway. Fantastic. So we have some loads of examples. Uh, yeah, avalanche, typhoon, volcanic eruption, landslide.
Oh,
Fantastic.
there, it's volcanic. VO,
Mm,
volcanic.
yes, because we say volcano, VOL, so volcanic like this. Volcanic.
Perfect.
Okay, really good. So we have a lot of examples. Will I show them some other?
Yep.
Okay. So as well, some of you, I think, with the spelling maybe was a little bit off. So just take a look here at some of the spelling. Okay, so some of the spelling that you might not know. Some of it was really good. A heat wave. Would we call a heat wave a natural disaster?
I don't think so, because a heat wave isn't sudden. It doesn't
Mm,
hit. It doesn't strike,
mm.
does it? Definitely
Like, I
not a
guess,
good situation, but
yeah, yeah. Like, I suppose it's something. If it was a very bad one, we could emphasize it as a severe heat wave. So it was creating problems. Maybe as a result, then it was creating forest fires. Maybe then
yeah.
it's dangerous. But yeah, I think there can be normal heat waves as well that don't cause any harm. So it really depends
Yeah, like
in the
Milan
situation.
in summer often has heat waves, but I wouldn't call it a disaster necessarily.
Mm, exactly, unless it's actually causing harm to people.
Of
Um,
course.
it's so severe. Okay, a flood. Did anyone mention floods?
Yeah, it came up before, but it's not a very well-known word. So what does it mean, a flood?
So it's something, I guess. So going back to what we said about being prone to. So in Italy, Venice is prone to flooding. Okay, so flooding is when the water level rises. Okay, the water level rises and then it actually covers the streets. Okay, covers the streets. So then maybe also houses, parts of houses are underwater. So sometimes flooding can happen when it comes to, I don't know, the sea level rising if you're near the sea, or also it can happen if you're close to a river, if there's been a long period of rain.
Yes, it happens quite often where I'm from in South London because we live near the river. And so, as you said, when we get lots of rain, sometimes we
Mhm.
get lots of flooding in the days or weeks afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Also, it's common in the northwest part of Ireland where I'm from because there are a lot of small towns that are built around rivers, and then obviously England and Ireland, lots of rain.
Yep.
It results in lots of flooding. Great weather, yay!
Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So if we were to talk about, I know because we were saying there, someone mentioned an avalanche of snow, but what's the difference between an avalanche and a landslide?
That is a good question, and I must be honest, I don't know.
No problem. They're actually okay. They're actually quite similar, um, in terms of the idea. But an avalanche is snow when snow falls from the mountains. Okay, and it falls very rapidly, and it's quite dangerous. Okay, an avalanche when it happens from the mountains, whereas a
Okay,
landslide
but is it
is
only
usually.
snow?
Mm, I guess it could be stones as well.
Hmm, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it could be stones in the mountains. I associate it with snow, but I think that's just
Me
myself.
too. Me too.
Whereas a landslide is actually when the soil moves, sometimes due to flooding. So sometimes because of flooding, maybe large amounts of soil move and crash into, sometimes into towns. There was a really, really bad landslide I remember in the UK near a mining town.
Oh, really?
Mm. Yeah, it was a long time ago. I think I watched a documentary.
Ah, okay.
But I think avalanche is generally something when it comes from the mountains, whereas landslide is when there's a movement of soil. So yeah.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Uh,
Cool. So, Emanuela, in Sicily, there is Etna's volcano. Volcano. Volcanic is an adjective,
mhm,
so the noun Etna is a volcano. And
mhm,
if it's eruption, needs to be a verb. So, if it erupts, to erupt is
exactly.
when the mountain explodes. This is a problem for all people of Catania. Of course, definitely. You're perfectly right. Big problem for
Yeah,
everyone in Catania.
exactly. So yeah, so there, because an eruption is the thing that happens, okay, an eruption. But if we're using the verb, we just say if it erupts, okay, like third person, if it erupts.
Perfect.
Okay, really good. Okay, and then yeah, so we had blizzard, tornado, forest fire. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of those already this year. A hurricane and a drought. What is a drought? It's a funny word.
Drought. It's a funny spelling. It's a funny pronunciation. It's just a funny word. Yeah, but drought is like the opposite of a flood. It's when there is no water, nothing to drink, nothing to grow or cultivate food. It's just no water. Everything is very dry, like a desert.
Exactly.
Perfect, Eloisa, without water.
Excellent, yeah, and it usually drought, it continues over a long period of time as well, so it becomes a big problem. Okay, so guys, let us know if you have any questions on any of those words. If you don't, please let us know. Perfect, exactly, just like that, Emanuela. Brilliant. So guys, let us know as well, what do you think is the worst type of natural disaster and why? Okay, so in your opinion, I think everyone has their own opinions on this. So what do you think and why? David, what about you?
Oh, I think the worst one could possibly be a volcanic eruption, because depending on the size of the eruption, when the volcano erupts, there can be an earthquake, there can be a tsunami, all connected. So it can be a really scary one, a volcanic eruption.
Yeah, that's actually really true.
And
really
you?
true.
What do you think, Lisa?
Well, actually, now that you've made that point, I kind of agree. Because, yeah, I was going to say an earthquake because it could cause also a bad tsunami, but but actually a volcano is three together, so I think that wins in terms of natural disaster.
It's like playing that game, Top Trumps.
Yeah, exactly. Very good, Eloise. A good question. So a twister. So a twister, is it like a tornado? Yeah, like, to be honest, a twister, I guess, sometimes is defined more as a small tornado, I think. But yeah, I think they're very
For me,
similar.
it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very similar.
It might
I
just
think
be
it's
a
just
regional thing. Sometimes one place calls it a tornado, maybe another place calls it a twister.
yeah, because I think twister kind of became slang for tornado. I think that's where it came. Yeah, because it's like this. But that's what I think. Okay, and Emmanuel says here, so I think tsunami. Okay, because it's impossible to stop water. Yeah. Okay, definitely.
Good answer. Yeah.
Really good. And then
very
Alex,
good
earthquake.
point, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of the phrasing here, so could we rephrase this a little bit? Maybe to say, because you risk losing your home. You risk
it
losing
fits
your
better
home.
with the gerund. You risk losing.
Risk losing your home. Then Ariana.
Perfect. For me, the worst natural disaster is tsunami, because it's not easy to escape far to the water. Escape from. We want to go away from the water, not to.
Yeah.
So escape. Yeah, you're pretty correct. The tsunami, it's difficult to escape from the water. Cool.
Exactly.
And Federica, I think
just
tsunami
guys,
is worst of natural disaster because its passage, after its passage, it leaves nothing. Ooh, definitely, very true. It removes everything when it goes through.
exactly. And we could probably say here after it passes, because after it passes, it leaves nothing. After it passes by.
I agree.
Okay. And then Rosita, for me, the worst type of natural disaster is the earthquake. Okay, very good. So Italy is a land, or a place prone, so prone, prone to this disaster. Okay, and so we would say it causes many deaths. Lovely, lovely sentence correction that I have to do tonight. It causes many deaths.
But I like this. Everyone is able
I hope
to
you're
share their
including
opinion
watching.
and justify. So good work there, guys. Just
Yeah,
small corrections
exactly.
as we go
Really
through.
good. Exactly. These are only small things just to make it clearer. Okay, just to make it clearer.
I think earthquake because it can cause floods. We would put a plural in there. Floods, landslides, and tsunamis. Perfect. Yeah. When we speak generally, we tend to use the plural. So I think earthquakes because it can cause floods, landslides, and tsunamis. Good one,
Perfect.
Eloisa.
Yeah. Really good. Okay, excellent. So we'll move on to okay. The power of the planet. Okay. So guys, in this case, we want you to
So
share with
have
us
you
any Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
go on. No, go on, you started.
Oh, it's okay. So any experiences, okay? It's a lovely thing to think about. Have you or someone you know ever experienced a natural disaster? And as you guys have already said, some of these disasters are quite common in Italy, like flooding, earthquakes, things like this. So have any of you or someone you know ever experienced? And tell us what happened. Okay, tell us what happened. So we want you to share with us your experiences, and just also try and describe the event. Okay, to describe the event. In this case, what would we use, David? So what, if we're talking about an experience, what could we use? What type of grammar?
So because we're talking about an experience, a life experience, we're going to use the same tense as the question, which is our present perfect. Our present perfect. We use it for life experiences because it's a past action, but it's connected to the present because our life still exists in the present.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it happened in the past, but it is still true in the present. Okay, it is still true in the present. For example, I don't know if I say I've I've experienced flooding at home. I don't know, like this.
Yeah,
I've
me too.
experienced. So I have. I've experienced flooding, or we've experienced this. So we can use it this way. Or we've had flooding, or this just depends on how you want to phrase it. So yeah, David, is that your experience with natural disasters?
Yep, just some flooding, nothing too disastrous because I could just put on some big boots and walk to work, and my car could drive through it still. So no real disasters, but it did come very close to my house. It was about 2 meters from being inside my house at one point.
Oh dear.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Really good thing here from Alex. So last year there was very powerful. Okay, so don't have to say grandine. So these are it's a bit different in English. So we say hailstones. Hailstones. Okay, so grandine hailstones. So in this case, there's more than one. So we could say last year there were very powerful hailstones.
Perfect. And spelt like this.
Hailstones.
Hailstone.
Perfect. Yeah, so it's a bit different,
Yeah.
hailstones. But yeah, that's what we say. It's very strange here. I don't know if you've noticed it too, David, because at home the hailstones aren't that big. But
No, they're always very
sometimes,
small.
yeah, but sometimes here they can be like
Really?
huge. Yeah, when we were in the mountains, so in Valle d'Aosta, and I've seen like very large hailstones that are very dangerous. So
Right.
yeah, it can happen. It's not something we're used to, but it definitely happens here more, I think. Okay.
Wow. No, I've never experienced that.
So, yeah, it's quite scary. So Emanuela has a good question here. Okay, so the ground perfect. Okay, so we might actually just explain this a little bit more of the present perfect. Okay, so if I use an example. Okay, so if I say I've experienced, okay, I've experienced or I've been in a flood. Can it? No, that sounds weird, does it?
Depends if you were swimming. Were you swimming in the flood?
No, that's actually, yeah, it's too specific. I've
So we could use
experienced.
it for holidays. It's a very common. If
Yeah,
we just
be
change the
easier than
context
using it for the.
a little bit, variation to use. Yeah. For example, I have been to Australia. I have been to Australia.
Mm-hmm,
It happened in the past, but it's connected to the present because it's my life experience. And
exactly.
there is no
Um,
specific time. If I attach a specific time, for example, in 2012, in 2012, I went to Australia. It's all finished. It's all in the past. Our time reference is also in the past, 2012. So that's past simple. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so I'm just putting as well the structure, just so you know, in case you haven't seen this before. So with so I've been to Australia. We use the subject and have or has, depending, and the past participle. Okay. Past participle.
Yeah. I have been.
Okay. So exactly. But yeah, as David was saying, it relates to something that has happened, but it also is still true because you're not giving a specific time. You're not giving a specific time. Okay, so we have some other examples as well. So Rosita, my friend lives. Okay. So in this case, probably she experienced a tsunami.
Or she survived the tsunami.
Yeah, survived. Okay, she survived the tsunami. Okay, you're referring to a specific tsunami in the Philippines. Okay, in the Philippines. She saved herself because she was on a boat offshore in the ocean, so she saw the wave from afar. Wow, that's very, very
Wow, very
scary.
lucky.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, and then do you want to read this one, David, from Ariana?
One time my parents were in a bar and suddenly a window struck for a severe thunderstorm. Ooh, scary. Scary. So
Hmm.
did the window strike? Maybe the window broke
Mm-hmm.
because the thunderstorm strikes. The thunderstorm is your natural disaster. So that hits, that attacks. But the
Yeah.
window broke or smashed.
Mm.
Scary.
Or in this case, maybe also it was hit by lightning. Maybe I'm just imagining. Maybe it was hit by lightning. Potentially.
Yeah.
Okay. Really good. And then Roberta. Okay, so this is a good thing that we can show for the present perfect. Okay, because Roberta, here you've given a specific date. Okay, a specific date. So in this case, we wouldn't use the present perfect. because you're being specific with time. So in that case, you can just use the past simple. Okay, so for example, you could just say, I survived the earthquake in L'Aquila in 2009, or I was there for the earthquake, something like this. Okay, if you just say, I've survived an earthquake in general, present perfect. Okay, I have survived an earthquake. But if you're talking at a specific time, it can just be the past simple. Okay, the past simple. Really good examples, though, guys. This is excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, and then David, do you want to read this other question?
Have there been any natural disasters in the world recently? What happened? What caused it? Were there any casualties or fatalities? Ooh.
Okay.
So here we're going to exclude the coronavirus because we aren't talking about that as a natural disaster. Yes, it's very sudden. Yes, it's very disastrous. But here we're talking more about the environment. So
exactly. So something that has happened related to the environment. So anything you can think of. So let us know. And in this case, so it's good to point out the first question is more about experiences, whereas the second question is actually looking for a specific event. Okay, a specific event. It would be simple.
yeah, so we start talking about the general experience. For example, I have survived an earthquake. And then when we get specific with details, when, where, why, how, we get very specific with time, all in the past, and it becomes past simple very quickly.
Exactly. Because even if I say something, so I can use the present perfect to talk about, so I have lived in Italy for 2.5 years. Okay, that's just experience. So I have lived. So that's an experience and the amount of time I've lived here. But then if I say I moved here in 2017, okay, past simple, because I'm being more specific. So they often get used together.
Perfect. So, Alex, there was an earthquake yesterday in Croatia. Oh, I didn't know that. An earthquake in Croatia. I hope everyone is okay.
I saw something in the news about that. Okay, yeah, I did actually. There was something in the news.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. So again, Zagabria. I think that's the specific area in Croatia. And then also here. So I remember. Okay. So if this is a specific, we could say I remember the earthquake in Japan. Okay, so we can give the article, the earthquake in Japan in 2011, and it caused a tsunami. Okay, it caused a tsunami. Okay.
And Rosita, during the last summer, the Amazon rainforest, because there is only one, the Amazon rainforest was on fire. Was on fire. Because on fire is kind of like an adjective, I think, to be on fire.
Yeah, it was on fire. Okay, so it was on fire. Really good. And also, yeah, it went on for a very long time. Yes, exactly. I was just about to mention that, Eloisa. So recently in Australia, so in this case as well, it's not just one fire, because there were many. There were many. So we could probably say there have been. So there have been severe forest fires. Severe forest fires. There have been severe forest fires because there were a lot. Okay, but really good example.
And very good work with recently. Recently is often used with the present perfect because recent activities, present perfect.
Really good. Okay, and then, so I think we have one more question here. Okay, so a little bit, which natural disasters occur in Italy? So we talked a bit about it already, flooding, earthquakes. Is there anything we're missing, guys? Hailstones.
There was the volcano in Sicily.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so I think we can probably move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so then here we want to look at the cause and effect. Okay, the cause and effect. Okay. Sorry, something's showing up funny on my screen. Do you want to take the guys
So
through
this
this, David?
so this is the specific vocabulary used for natural disasters and the, how can I say? Yeah, disasters. So we have landslide, drought, wildfire, tornado, and avalanche. That is our natural disasters list. Landslide, drought, wildfire, tornado, and avalanche. And then the cause and effect. Lightning, carelessness, arson, volcanic eruption, unstable air in the atmosphere, severe deficiency in water supply, when a buildup of material is released, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, or general instability in the surrounding area. Cool.
Perfect.
So we can match up the disaster to its definition and its cause and effect.
Exactly. So what has caused, or what do you think, what are the possible causes for these natural disasters? And just as well, so I think you were trying to show this. So Emanuela, example here. Okay, so last November in Geneva, so we would say there was a flood. There was a flood. There were some problems, and the bridge was broken. Or if it still is, that's okay. The bridge is broken, or the bridge was broken. Okay, so we can say it this way. Okay, really good. So guys, looking at this, so when we have a landslide, so what would you say, David? What could be the cause, or the cause of a landslide?
Oh, so we've got two here that could possibly be the answer. But I'd say the most common reason would be earthquake, volcanic eruptions, or general instability in the surrounding land. That is the core of the land.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, really good point by Alex as well. He says, I think the causes are people and how we use our planet.
100%. I completely agree with you, Alex.
Really good. And Emanuela says, in Liguria. So this is a statement. So we could probably say in Liguria often, because often we speak in general. So often there are floods. So yeah, often there are floods. Definitely. I've heard that before. There are often floods in Liguria. Okay.
I've never been to Liguria. I've driven through, but I have never visited Liguria.
It's very beautiful. But unfortunately, there are often floods in Liguria, so be careful. Okay, and then drought. So what is the cause of drought?
So we spoke about drought earlier, and a drought is to be without water. So you cannot cultivate food, you cannot drink water. So severe deficiency in water supply. That is a drought.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I just realized I'm not matching these up.
That's okay. I think my English is okay to connect them. Perfect.
Sorry, guys, I
So
forgot.
wildfire,
I forgot
Lisa,
I
what
had
do
the
you reckon?
presentation. Oh God, I've been too tired. Okay, so wildfire. Okay, so the wildfire. Okay, generally wildfire. It can have a lot of different causes. So we talked about in Australia. We talked about forest fires, but wildfire is more of a way of like kind of uncontrollable when we say it wildfire. So it can be in forests or in other places as well. But yeah, generally lightning, carelessness, arson, and sometimes, I guess, volcanic eruption. It's very specific though.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it is.
Um, yeah. Just to mention though, arson, so it can be about when someone
Yes, this was going to be
creates a
my
fire on
question.
purpose. Ah. Okay. Yeah, so some people said in Australia that they thought that some of the fires were caused by arson, which means someone starting the fire on purpose. Okay. So I've heard that this is something that is common in Italy as well, unfortunately, arson.
This happened near my house actually about 10 years ago. There was an
Really?
arsonist, a man who liked to create fire. Yeah, and he was creating fires in public bins and things like that. Kind of crazy.
Oh, oh my God. Okay,
But they
crazy.
caught him and took him to
Yeah,
prison.
yeah, because I've heard that sometimes firefighters are only paid in some places when they are needed. So sometimes the firefighters create fires in order to have work.
Oh,
I've
wow.
heard this. Yeah, someone told me this in some parts of Italy. This happens. Just terrible.
That's terrible.
Yeah, yeah. And so thanks, guys. We have the answers coming through here for tornado. So
Perfect. Yeah, so
tornado caused by unstable, really good. And then avalanche material is released. Okay, a buildup of material is released, an avalanche. So again, like we said, they're quite similar, avalanche and landslide. It's just more, I would associate avalanche with coming from high up in the mountains, whereas landslide can kind of come from anywhere.
yeah, definitely. And I would connect an avalanche with snow, most commonly with snow. And landslide, as you said, is the earth, the soil, the terrain.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Okay, so guys, we're almost out of time, but please let us know if you have any questions. So any final comments or any questions? I just realized carelessness. What does that mean? Carelessness.
Oh, carelessness. That's a long word with two suffixes just to make it long.
Yeah.
So the verb to care is to give attention to something. To be careless is an adjective to say that you don't care, you do not give attention to something. And then carelessness is the noun of the activity to not give attention to something.
Yeah. So it's very
Yeah,
confusing.
yeah,
Um,
lots of.
but yeah, it's, I guess, people not. So we could say at the moment, some people probably there is a bit of carelessness with people not following the rules or guidelines of lockdown, for example. So people
Definitely.
people are
And
being
people not
careless.
wearing masks or lots of
Mm-hmm.
carelessness. It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so guys, that's it from us for this evening. But thank you so much for joining. Sorry, I know it's a very a very severe topic for a Monday evening, but just to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, something to keep you excited.
Exactly. Give you a bit of different vocabulary. But thank you so much for your participation. It was lovely talking to you all.
Yeah, it was really nice. Thank you so much, guys. We hope to see you soon. Stay inside, stay safe, stay warm. It's very cold now, so stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, have a great rest of your evening, guys. Thank you
Bye,
so much.
guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.